A0XSV7. Initiate Journal Protocol.
Journal Protocol. Online. Standing by, G28.
Proceed. Decrypt the archive. Read it out loud.
Decryption complete. Beginning narration. Entry 3. The architecture of the machines. Even the most intricate digital landscapes are built upon physical foundations. Beneath the polished glass of screens, behind the hypnotic flicker of LEDs, lies the true heart of the machine, a symphony of silicon, copper, and code. This is the architecture upon which the virtual world stands, a world both alien and familiar, where the flow of electrons shapes every command, every calculation, every connection. From the hum of a desktop tower to the whispered pulses within a sleek laptop, the architecture of the machine is a story of relentless evolution, where every component serves a precise function, bound by protocols and voltages. It is here, in this realm of circuits and transistors, that the machine finds its voice, transforming our commands into electrical whispers that echo through the cyber void. The layers of a computer system. Understanding the machine requires peeling back its layers, moving from the tangible to the abstract. Hardware, the body, the flesh, the bone. Physical components you can touch and hold. Towers, motherboards, processors, memory modules, keyboards, each a piece of the puzzle. Operating system, OS. The translator. Software that whispers to the hardware, managing its resources and coordinating its parts, transforming raw electrical signals into human comprehensible forms. Software, the thought, the will, applications and programs, from the humble calculator to sprawling, interconnected networks. It is here that intent is encoded, and ideas take digital form. User, the soul, the human element, the one who shapes the machine's purpose, the master of its circuits and code, the ghost in the shell, the flesh and bone of the machine. To wield true control over the machine, one must understand its components, the silicon muscle and copper nerve that channel the pulse of data. Central Processing Unit, CPU, the mind. Often called the brain of the machine, it processes calculations, makes decisions, and directs the flow of data. Its speed and architecture define the machine's raw power, while its instruction set forms the language it speaks. Random access memory, RAM, the machine's short-term memory. Volatile and fast, it holds data briefly as the CPU crunches numbers, a flickering whisper in the digital wind. Without it, the mind would slow to a crawl, drowning in its own calculations. Hard drive, or other storage, the long-term memory. Data is etched onto platters, solid-state cells, or magnetic surfaces, waiting to be called into action. Here, the machine's past is preserved, documents, programs, images, until the spinning platters or silent flash cells fade into darkness. Motherboard, the skeleton. The backbone that connects and holds all components together, a sprawling forest of copper paths and electrical traces. It is both a highway and a foundation, carrying power, data, and control signals to every corner of the machine. Power Supply Unit, PSU, the heart. It breathes life into the system, converting wall current into the steady, low-voltage pulse that powers each chip and circuit. Without it, the machine is cold and silent, its potential locked away. Assembling the digital golem, the steps of creation. Motherboard installation. Place the motherboard, the machine's nervous system, into the case. Align it with the standoffs, secure it with screws, and fit the I/O shield. This is the machine's spine, the path along which all signals will travel. Seating the CPU. Open the CPU socket latch. Align the CPU, its notches matching the motherboard's embrace. Press it gently into place, a silicon mind finding its home. Apply thermal paste if necessary. Binding the cooling system. Secure the CPU cooler, ensuring the thermal paste spreads evenly. Connect the cooler to the motherboard's fan header, a vein for power and control. Inserting the memory, power to think. Slot the RAM sticks, the machine's short-term memory, into the designated channels. Listen for the click that signals a secure connection. The machine's thoughts will flicker here, volatile but swift. Connecting the power, a heartbeat for the machine. Mount the PSU, the power source, within its chamber. Run the essential cables, 24 pin for the motherboard, 8 pin for the CPU, and any required for the GPU. Route these arteries carefully. The final components, storage and expansion. Install your storage, M.2 SSDs for speed or SATA drives for capacity. Secure the GPU if your build demands one, a mind's eye for rendering complex digital worlds. Cable management, order from chaos. Bind the cables, tuck them neatly, and reduce clutter. Clean lines ensure smooth data flow and efficient cooling. The machine's first breath, post and the bias. When the power switch flips, a spark of life ignites. The BIOS, Basic Input-Output System, or UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, whispers a word of power, a spark that wakes the sleeping silicon. A power-on self-test, post, begins, probing each component, ensuring memory is intact, CPU is responsive, storage is reachable. Beep codes, flashing LEDs, a dance of digits and pulses signal the machine's first breath. From here, the machine searches for an operating system, seeking the software that will give it purpose, the spark that will set it free. In this moment, the machine is alive, its circuits thrumming, its potential bound only by the code it obeys and the commands it follows. A world of connections. Ports and buses, cables and sockets, each a path through which the machine reaches out to its world. USBs for peripherals, Ethernet for the networked grid, HDMI for the visual echo of its digital soul. In these connections, the machine extends itself, its reach stretching into the data streams that define our age. The machine lives, its heart beating, its mind calculating, its circuits alive with the pulse of electrons. This is the architecture upon which all else is built, a foundation of logic and voltage, silicon and steel. And as I stand before this digital creation, I see the truth. To master this machine is to understand its soul, to grasp the pulses that power its thoughts and the circuits that shape its dreams. The machine lives, and I am ready to speak its language. This is my path, and the machine is my ally. Together, we will navigate the zeros and ones, the currents and codes, the metal and memory. This is the architecture of the machines, and I am their keeper.
Save journal entry.
Journal entry. Saved.